And welcome back to our Sports Talk special here on Blue Ridge 11. We are going through all of our local football teams, chatting with the coaches as they get set for the upcoming season. It's time to talk Conestoga Valley, and in week one, Buckskins are on the channel here as Penn Manor travels to Conestoga Valley. We will be live in Whitmer this Friday, August 23rd at 7 o'clock. Make sure you're joining us for that as we kick off week 1 and 10 all the way through, as we are excited for the season, and we're excited now to talk with Conestoga Valley. Time to jump into Conestoga Valley here. Head coach John Scepanski has joined us. Coach, third season for you in charge of the Buckskins. You guys had a great run there last year, finished second in the section, and then went on to win a playoff game. So what is the feeling like after having a season like that before you get started this year?
Yeah, we want to build off of where we left off last year. Making the district playoffs was great for the school, for the program, and now it's a goal that we have, an expectation that we want to meet again. So building off of where we were last year and moving forward, continuing in that same direction has been our focus.
All right, and so Section 2 looks a little different this year. How do you feel kind of who's joined the party here and how CV still fits in there?
Yeah, it is different a little bit. We have 2 teams out, 2 new teams in. For me, coming back to the LL League, I've never played the 2 schools that we'll be playing in E-Town and Ephrata as a head coach. So it's certainly a different experience for me, but the kids are familiar with who they are. So we're excited. It'll be a new section for us, but same good competition and ready to get after it.
Well, I know Eric is chomping at the bit to find out about offense and players, so we'll let Eric fire away here as we continue on.
All right. Well, obviously when people look at offense, the first thing they're going to look at is quarterbacks. And you got a new one in Sawyer Espenshade, tremendous athlete. We've seen him on the basketball court. We've seen him on the football field last year, albeit in a different position. How has he transitioned into the quarterback spot, and how did you fare as far as your scrimmage against LS?
Sawyer's, he's a fun kid to coach. It's one of those where as a coach, you put in a lot of time, making sure everybody's prepared, and he fits exactly what we're looking for. He's a kid that puts in the extra time, wants to constantly get better and ask questions when he's unsure of, who he should read or what he should be expecting. He's a joy to coach, and he's done a great job this off season. Our scrimmage was very competitive with LS. There was the game of the Lampeter Bowl that hasn't happened recently, but it's only a scrimmage, but the kids all know each other, and there's still that little bit of rivalry amongst everyone. So the scrimmage went well. It's very competitive, and I think both programs, have the ability to have a good year.
And obviously the guy that draws a lot of attention, when you look at the Buckskins is Jaden Johnson, just a tremendous athlete, and of course got a chance to talk to him at Media Day, and so low key and quiet and humble. And, I didn't know what to expect out of him, but, he just seems like a very cerebral type of football player, a guy that just wants to win when he gets the ball, obviously can make things happen. What's it like having somebody with that kind of talent to build off of?
Yeah, he's another fun one. Every time he touches the ball, you really don't know what's going to happen. He can, get a 4 or 5 yard gain for you, but he has that ability to take 4 yards into 40. So it's a joy having him on our team, and he is a very humble kid. He opens up a little bit more once he knows you, and he's fun to joke around with. But he works hard. He's a good kid, and I hope he has a great senior year this year.
You look at this and obviously your first playoff win since 2009. What was it like in the locker room after that game? Was it elation, or were these guys kind of thinking, okay, that's the first step, we've got more to go? What was it like?
Yeah, it was. I mean, they certainly enjoyed every minute of it. We try to live, one moment at a time and take on the next as it comes. And, the group of kids that won that game, they deserved, all the appreciation and celebration that they were able to enjoy. And, but they were the same group that, hey, the next day it's time to get refocused and move on to our next opponent. And, they did that. It was a lot of fun just seeing community members out for a playoff game and just the morale that rose, because of their success.
Yeah, and you did lose some talent and some guys that you're going to have to replace. But the thing is, you got 14 starters back last year, including 5 that were all-stars. So it's not like you're hitting the reset button. You're just trying to find some holes to fill. And you know what? With a guy like Johnson, and you got Seth Morgan and Corson and Stoltzfus up front, you've got a really nice foundation coming into 2024.
I do. They're good kids. They're fun. And when I got hired here, the guy that was the junior high head coach, I met with him and he had said that, hey, this upcoming sophomore class that you're going to be inheriting is a special group. And there's no doubt that he was absolutely correct with his statement. Having them as a freshman team and then seeing them move on to the high school. And it's fun. This will be the first group that's been on with me from sophomore to senior year. And I couldn't ask for a better group of guys.
And looking at some of the write-ups, Tal Stoltzfus, a kid that thought about not playing football and then finally decided to go for it and found out, this is his love. And then Justin Corson spending time after time after time with reps at center because, who wants to play center? Well, it's worked for him because now he's a 3-year starter. So obviously you got some kids that saw an opportunity and cashed in.
Yeah. And they work hard every moment they're here. All the guys that you just named, Corson, Tal, they're guys they're the first ones here. They're the last ones to leave. They're always out helping the younger guys. We have upcoming or incoming sophomores that they struggle at times, whether it's understanding or being able to perform a certain technique, and they're true teammates that value what we are doing, and they want to see that after they're gone that this program still continues to have success, and that they don't look at them as, oh well, that's my backup or backup to a backup. They're a teammate and are willing to help and get everybody up to be the best football player they can.
Yeah, and I guess my last question, I'll let Chad back in on this, but coming into camp and where you are today, is there a player that has kind of stood out that you didn't anticipate that we'll expect to see on a Friday night?
Not that I didn't expect to see him, but he's had a really good offseason is Tegan Rubel. He's in our backfield. And we'll run the ball and catch passes out of the backfield, but might play some linebacker here and there. But he's just he's shorter, but he's tough as nails and runs hard. And looking for him to have a really good season this year.
Yeah, let's focus on some of the defense. What are the strengths of your defense? Is there a player or two? Is there a position or two that you feel like is really the heart and soul of your defense this year?
Not necessarily one area.
Okay.
I feel we have a kid at every one of those levels. You look at up front with Corson and Tal being on the D line, and then Seth Morgan at middle linebacker with Jackson Byers, who's a returning starter there and had a good junior year. And in our secondary, pretty much everybody's back in our secondary. Isaiah Sensining kind of leads that charge, but Seth Frankfurt and JoJo Garcia at corners have good playing experience and have done a great job. So it's a full unit defensively for us.
Okay, well that's good to hear, because that should give you a lot of confidence as you guys head into your week 1 matchup, which is against Penn Manor. And by the way, it's going to be on the channel, so we get to see kind of right away what's going on with you guys. Talk to me about how you're preparing for the Comets. What do they do well on offense or defense that you've really had to kind of focus on?
Yeah, well, the scrimmage was this Saturday, so we've had about a day and a half here to look at film and start with the game planning, everything. That's the downfall of the Saturday scrimmage. It kind of puts you a day behind compared to the normal schedule. But, yeah, I mean, they look big. They're physical. They have some speed. They're able to get to the edge, and they run a variation of some triple option, which makes you play responsibility football. And, you know, they're high school kids, and telling the kid that he's got to have this role over and over and over again, it's not always what they want to do. But, you know, it's something that we have a few days here to focus on and work on and try to put everybody in the best position that we can be successful Friday night.
Any chance that when you guys played Cocalico last year that any of the preps for that game in the playoffs helps against a team like you're saying it sounds like Penn Manor runs on offense?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly does. There's not a lot of schools that are a triple option based team, but when you face those teams, it's difficult because, again, it's something that you don't see, and it's hard to simulate the speed that teams that do it on a day in and day out basis. You can't mimic that speed in practice, so it takes a little bit for the kids to transition to it once it is game time. But, you know, we try to put our kids in the best situation and rep it as much as we can so that we can go out Friday and be successful with it.
Wonderful. Great to hear. Eric, we got about a minute left here with Coach. You have one final question to shoot his way?
Yeah. You got something that a lot of other teams don't have, and that is not one but 2 Thursday games this year, both on the road at Dover and at Spring Grove. So it's not just like it's across town.
No.
Have you looked ahead to think, okay, how are we going to prep? How are we going to prepare on a short week? I know the season hasn't even started yet, but I mean, as a coach, you always want to look ahead, thinking, how are we going to practice this week and then get ready on a short week?
Yeah, you know, that's something that the staff and I we've talked about it. And when the schedule did change to those, you know, to Thursday games, it was like, okay, well, we'll make it work. But I'm sure is that, you know, we got a few weeks till we have to face it. But the closer it gets, probably the more anxious and you know, we're going to be like, all right, a little scrambled. But and that's the benefit of having a group like we have, because they're gonna do the homework that we assign to them. They're gonna work hard, and you know, again, we're just gonna, as coaches, try to put them in the best situation we can to be successful. And having a team like we do, the buy-in from them, will make it work.
All right. Well, Coach Scepanski, thanks so much for coming on the program and giving us a preview of the team. Good luck this season, and we will see you in just a couple of days on Friday night. Can't wait for that.
Thanks. I look forward to it.
Don't forget, coming up Friday night, it's our first Friday of the high school football season, and we've got Penn Manor taking on Conestoga Valley. Non-league action here. Week 1 kicks off Friday, August 23rd at 7 p.m. Be there to watch as we kick off this 2024 season. And as we turn the page here, we're going to head to Section 3, and that's where Cocalico Eagles live this year. We'll talk to their head coach and see what the Eagles can do to back up their back-to-back District 3 titles.